Hey guys, as I was looking at the transiting planets today, I took note of Saturn in Aquarius, and I just wanted to do a read on that because Saturn in Aquarius, the last time this sort of transit was happening was around 1944, where we see the World Wide Web invented and the internet and things invented. So I just wanted to do a reading for Saturn in Aquarius and see how it will implement changes in all of our lives, well, especially us who are seeing this video, because we are the ones who are doing the spiritual work. We can see a lot of airy energy coming out straight away. Because we're on this spiritual path, right? But you will have known that there's major changes going on in the world, right? We can't help but see the last year and a half or 2 years, there's been a massive amount of changes. All the air here, all the air. There's been this massive amount of changes that has and will bring changes for the better into our life, okay? So I just wanted to give you guys a reading for Saturn in Aquarius. If you are new, welcome. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get all the messages I post each month. And to my lovely loyal subscribers, welcome back. I'll leave information for how to contact me for personal readings and my other services in the description box. Where have we got that there? So let's see here what we have going on. We have 9 of Winters, 2 of Swords here, Release, which is the Death card, and the Princess of Winter, which is the Page of Swords. So communication, technology. We know as well with where Mercury's at in Gemini, this is why we have all this airy energy, all this wanting to communicate, and this energy that's coming out here. We see ascension in the Engagement card. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Now, I want you guys to really receive the benefit of Saturn in Aquarius, right? Saturn is the father planet. It's like really wants us to do the work and you know, clean up our house and do things the right way. So we've seen meaningful changes, I guess, throughout these last couple of years. We've seen protests, we've seen activism, and the next 27 years, actually, we're going to see this cycle. So the protests, let me tell you, are here to stay. They're here to make big, real changes to humanity. We know Aquarius being the 11th house. That's the collective. It's about humanitarian work, friendships, groups of people coming together to implement meaningful changes, major changes in the world. And individually, if you want to make these changes in your life so that we don't go back to you know, these lessons, I feel most of us who are getting here are doing the work that Saturn wants us to do, then we get the rewards from the universe, and that is the beautiful thing, right? Because, you know, a lot of the time we spend doing the work and we don't receive the rewards, but individually in your romantic life as well, this can have a major effect, right? We want to start caring for each other better. We want to find somebody to love. I feel like it's sort of, we did have Saturn retrograding, so we want to go back to, I feel, romantically, we want to go back to how relationships used to be. And I feel like that's probably one of the best things I can imagine, right? Because although the World Wide Web being invented was an amazing, beautiful thing, it's sort of a blessing and a curse at times. Well, I've always looked at it that way. We have information at our fingertips, but people have obviously used it to meet new people at their fingertips. So they don't really work on relationships, you know, they quickly move on to other people. And I don't think relationships are all about giving up on somebody, you know, or families and things like that. I feel like what we can take from this is that we want to go back to family structure, but with a much more healthier, forward-thinking take on it, right? We know now the difference between gaslighting and abuse and things like that, and not to stay in those sort of abusive relationships. But we also want to go back to family structure, to marriage, not just this instant messages and instant dating and instant relationships. We're taking it back here, way back. So that I'm happy about, okay? If we don't do the work, what we can see happening is you can start to feel this unfounded fear, because you're feeling the energy in the world with the Nine of Swords here. You're picking up the collective energy, because that's what Aquarius is, the collective, right? So you're reading the energy like something ominous is happening, and I don't know what it is, because you're not actually on board with it. If you get on board with it, you can feel the difference, the change, and you realize not to be scared. You're focusing on the worst case scenarios. Let's just say, you know, the current situation in the world. A lot of the time what we're shown is the worst case scenario, right? Because I guess that sells. And they want to, and fear's implemented in us, and it sells information, it sells in the media and things like that. So you want to step away from that and see the bigger picture here. And don't worry over these things, because they'll grow out of proportion. If you're having sleepless nights at certain times of the months, it is what is going on astronomically. So this Two of Winter here, that's the Two of Swords. Indecision holding you back. So not knowing can make you feel like, I don't know whether to act, or I don't know what to do. Make the choice that's best for you rather than trying to please people. Sometimes on our awakening, we're going to look crazy to other people. Sometimes we're going to think we're crazy. And then all of a sudden, boom, we have this release and transformation, and we're able to let go of the past and things that are not serving us, and things seem to fall into place for us. An ending that makes way for new opportunities. Time to move on. So times are moving. The energy is really moving. We're moving into a different stage. I don't know if you've seen or you've heard me talk about like the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, the Gold Age, or anything like that. We're on, if you can imagine, a giant wheel, and we're coming out of the Dark Ages, and that's what's pushing us on this major change. We know we're in the time of Aquarius now, so that's helping us to raise and the whole collective enlighten again. Okay, we've just come out of the age of Pisces, moved into the age of Aquarius now. So we do see that these changes are happening. And some of us it can be scary, because change is scary, right? Especially if we feel like we don't know what's happening. But it's for the better here. We do see lots of improvement. And we do see a lot more people now getting on their spiritual path and finding information out from an indigo child or adult, speaking the truth with kindness. But it may be difficult to hear, right? So this is realistic truths coming now with Aquarius. The cold side of Aquarius and Saturn, I feel like as we transit through Capricorn, things become lighter and much more future forward thinking. So it won't always feel like this Nine of Swords energy. The more we settle into it and realize it's about, you know, ascending, realizing it's about the changes that are here for good, I feel like a lot more of us sort of ease into it, and the collective energy and tension sort of eases. So I feel like people will start talking more, okay? So more information being spread, and that's also what Aquarius is about, technology. So we are seeing over the last couple of years channels like me blowing up, right? Where people are looking for extra information, they're looking to the stars, they're seeking this knowledge and technology. I feel like also we can expect, in general, forward and meaningful changes in medicine and technology and innovation in general, right? So coupled with that Aquarian humanistic energy, it's really gonna bring us all back together, I feel. I think with people, we've forgotten that we are like tribal people as well. So a lot of people are like, I'm fine by myself. I can sit and binge watch Netflix or something here and I'll be absolutely fine. And life's passing by and we're sort of like missing out on a lot of things. So we're going to move back towards trusting our feelings here. We're going to move back towards socialism. And I feel like that's great because there's this major collective wake up to maybe use technology for the positive sides, but really free ourselves, because it kind of feels like we can be handcuffed into, you know, news channels and things like that. I mean, I do it myself. I watch stand-up comedy. That's my thing. Or documentaries on aliens or something. That's my thing, but I'm a Scorpio, so hey. So we are sort of becoming sort of the next generation, right? And we're feeling that change among us. So your feelings are real. What's going on in the world, where you're like, if you're like, the world's just crazy. Like, what, are people crazy? What's happening? It will feel like that because there are mixtures of people that this change that's happening is, I guess, feels all of a sudden, but it's not. We've obviously gradually gone through the dark age and gradually moving our way up now. But trusting your intuition and your feelings at this time is going to be the best way forward, okay? Stay optimistic about your love life here. Positive thinking, faith will really bring these changes into your life. And where you think that there's no hope, there's no love left in the world, there actually is. You're just feeling Saturn wanting you to have this order and law and appreciation for somebody taking responsibility for their feelings, their actions, their duty to their problems, right? Problems, people then start seeing that, okay, this is not a problem, this is a lesson. And then we're no longer resisting being accountable for our actions, dealing with lessons. We are really looking out for each other and viewing these problems for what they are, something that will challenge us and help us to grow, which brings this real beautiful growth into humanity. And I feel like individually then making and implementing these major changes and major shifts in our life, so yeah, I feel like we've been feeling it probably since early last year, Saturn pushing us to do the work, to grow. And like I said, it's like the father planet, you know, we might be able to get around the other planets, but we're not getting around Saturn. Saturn's like the father planet that comes home and says, clean your room. And you say, but Dad. And Saturn says, no, you clean your room. And especially if you are wanting to go to a friend's house or something, and you say, well, I want to do this, or I want this love in my life. And Saturn's saying, you do this first. Then you get rewarded. Then you get your spending money or whatever. But it's this first. There's no way around it. We grow, or we feel this anxiety, this Nine of Winter's energy. We feel this worry, which serves us no purpose. We know that, right? So if you're here, you're lucky because you're doing the work. You may have been pushed. You may have got here through a tower moment, but you're here and you're doing the work. So that means you will receive your rewards. So the Princess of Swords again. So like I said, a lot of us seeking out spiritual mentors and leaders at this time. And the Death card again. This is the Death card. This is the Death card. This is the Princess of Swords. This is the Princess of Swords. So a lot of us are seeking out our own life path and our gift, if you like. Some people like to call it a gift. Some people like to call it our calling to give back to humanity, right? That's usually the 6th house. So check out what your 6th house is. You could probably start watching that sign, what your 6th house is, to see, maybe I'll get some more ideas on what you're being called to do at this time, where humanity is called to step up and give back and implement these changes, these transitions. We'll learn a lot through this transition. So while Saturn is transiting, we will go through these deaths, these awakenings, regarding like maybe feeling broken down, but it's to make sure we do change. We can see the signs to change. If we ignore them, then we get, you know, a tower and then the Death card, and then the change is forced upon us. That's Saturn. It's sort of like you're doing the work to love yourself. So the Queen of Cups here. So here, I feel like because loving, it starts with loving ourselves. That's probably the first lesson that we're all sort of picking up on, or, you know, it might not be just now, but if you're just waking up just now or just seeing signs just now, the first thing Saturn's calling for us to do is do the work on ourselves, be accountable for ourselves, love ourselves here, okay? And again, I feel like it's the changes within our family, toxic family members. If everybody else is loving themselves and doing the work around them, they will have to be doing it as well. So they'll be also pushed to do the work on themselves. This is our intuition becoming much stronger with the Queen of Cups, trusting ourselves much more. And that Ace of Swords, that breakthrough and ascension, that crown chakra's being activated, people opening their third eye and things like that. I always tell people when they ask me, how do I open my third eye? Do it naturally, by naturally ascending, okay? Because if you just think, oh, I've just found out about the third eye today, I'm going to try opening it up. We can have negative experiences. So we want to seek the truth here. Seek the truth. That's what Aquarius will bring to us, this honesty, this openness that wants to teach us. So everything you want to learn is there for you to learn. There'll be major breakthroughs. People will learn to communicate better. There might be something in technology where, I don't know where we could go from here with technology, you know, to do with communicating. It might just be because of this intuition thing. It's now that we are thinking about somebody. It's brain messages, right? And we're more relying on communication via telepathy and things. These sorts of things are now happening, and these we'll start to see more people communicating in the 5D, right? I was thinking about physical technology. I was like, where can we go from video calls? And then I realized next to the Queen of Cups, it can be telepathy with our intuition there. Prince of Wands. So Again, I feel like this is people becoming more creative, going after their dreams here and their passions, things they're excited about, finding their calling. And if you, I guess, wait and wait and wait, you may end up losing your job, and having to start from the bottom by learning something new here. But it's implementing a beautiful change where you are going to be required to move with the times. So it's like there's no going backwards anymore, right? So those who are still trying to go backwards, or still, you know, thinking in, I guess, negative ways, or I guess maybe unrealistic ways, the universe has no space or time for them right now. So it's people either getting with the protest, sorry, let me put the charger in, or, you know, it sounds like a funny saying, getting with the times, you know, get with the times, or you will be left behind. The universe will be getting rid of these sort of low vibrating people here. So anybody who's still going backwards and not thinking or caring about the planet we're on, climate change, all the big major protests that have been happening right now, it's really hard for me to mention because obviously the platform I'm on, right? I get checked. So I think unless you've been living under a rock like me, you'll know the major protests that are happening in the world, and people standing up. So it's a time for major changes in the world, and it's not time to think I'm going to sit and ignore it. It's time to get with it and do your part, whether that is donating, feeding a homeless person, protesting. It's time to get with it or be left behind. It's time for you to take action on your service to humanity here. Stand up for what you believe is right. Okay? We're all here for a human experience. You know, the color of your skin means nothing. Where you're born means nothing. This is a vessel. 9 of Cups here. So this is the rewards I was talking about. I guess my guides don't want me to be too doom and gloom for you guys. But like I said, I really stay away from the big issues on my channel because firstly, my integrity won't let me buy views or gain views by those sort of thing on somebody, you know, what's happening in certain countries and to certain races and things like that. I just don't want to be, I don't want to put that on you guys or the certain medical thing that's going around. I feel like obviously we're manifestors here and we're a conscious manifester on this channel. So if we are consciously manifesting and I show you every day that medical thing that's going around, you'll manifest it into your life or something of it, right? So I don't want to push personal opinions on you, just want to give you these clear messages. So the 9 of Cups is also Jupiter. And what Jupiter does, it wants us to expand. So with the Ace of Swords, it's expanding our knowledge, right? And that goes back to Saturn and Aquarius. And with the Queen of Cups, it expands our intuition, our love for one another, our acceptance of one another, and our acceptance of ourselves. We've seen a lot of that as well, and we will see more, a lot of that people are accepting themselves and loving themselves for who they are. The 9 is related to the Hermit. So this is about self-love, and this is where it begins. Like I said, this might even be one of the first lessons here that you went through. Learning to love yourself and not let people in and out of your life if they're not bringing anything to it. Not letting people hurt you, use you, abuse you, anything like that, okay? So let's see, 2 of wands jumping out there. So Two of Wands, we have a choice to make. Are we moving forward? Are we progressing? Are we loving ourselves? Are we loving others? Or are we staying still? Are we moving back? Are we not being accountable for our own actions? Are we not being accountable for what we do to the planet or other people? We can no longer ignore what's happening in the world, right? If we're just going to sit there and ignore it, bad things don't happen because there's bad people. Bad things happen because good people don't stand up. And if you're not one of those who are standing up right now, the universe is going to push you out some way or another. Because we need to protect the planet, right? We need to be coming here for our lessons. Humanity needs the planet. So it's decision time. It'll really feel like that. And I guess that's why your higher self knows and is trying to tell you, trying to wake you up and make you aware. It's sending you this energy that it's time for change, major changes. And it's time to act, and it's with the Knight of Wands. It's time to make a choice with the Two of Wands. Do you love yourself? Do you love your fellow humans? Do you love the planet you're on? Do you love nature? Are you respecting one another and each other? Or are you going to sit back and blame everybody else and wait for these changes to happen and just say, okay, somebody else can do it? That's right, somebody else will do it, but the universe will see you sort of as dead weight. Okay, you're not ascending, you're not moving, you're not changing, you're not really bringing anything to the collective, right? So you can't expect a soulmate or a life partner or love or these rewards. You can't expect your wishes to be granted, that love to be sent to you, that knowledge to be sent to you if you're doing nothing about it. But like I said here, we're all doing something about it. The very fact that you clicked on this video is you are doing something about it. You're being called to wake up. We see this 222, and like I said, learning to love ourselves first with the Nine of Cups. The 222 is your inner child, taking care of that inner child as well. So a lot of us, we do have negative or bad stories or bad experiences, maybe even from childhood, growing up and things like that. And we went through all these things for a reason. It was preparing us, right? This was experience. And now we can see as adults that we can implement the changes. We know what we didn't like. Maybe we can go out and help people in that same situation because we've lived through that story. You have your story to tell, which will become a guide, handbook for somebody else to survive, right? And they know there's survivors out there of people going through the same situation. Things like that are our life path, our calling. Sharing, connecting. And of course, loving. Love is the highest vibration of all here with the Two of Cups. Princess of Wands. And then obviously after we've knocked down everything and rebuilt ourselves, it's time to rebuild a new world. Where, you know, things are greener and things are growing and people are more united. It's time to create then with the Princess of Wands. It's time to initiate this change. Take action. Start drama. Stand up for your beliefs. Let people call you crazy. We're the best people. No matter what, this is not changing, okay? This is forward, futuristic movement. This is happening. Activism is here to stay. The major wake-up has started. You know, you're part of it, or, you know, you're being left behind. Knight of Pentacles. So it's okay to be curious. It's okay to be cautious and want to move slowly. That is okay as long as you're moving forward. And as long as you're offering something back, you know, because we're taking from this planet, right? What about if you just planted in your garden? You know, these sorts of things, helping nature to, you know, keep the world going. Without bees, we can't survive. So, you know, tending your garden so that bees can come and things like that. These sort of things are important changes. Don't think there's nothing you can do. There is something you can do to bring around these meaningful changes. And it may have even taken a long time in our lives to bring around meaningful changes in our love lives. But we see them happening now. We see this forward movement in love, in connection, in planting real seeds with love, of commitment, of understanding, of growing together. I think it's going to move away from just that sexy time energy into real growth energy where we're loving and growing one another, watering one another, watching each other blossom and in awe and admiring it, rather than, you know, being scared when our partner starts to grow off. I think you guys remember when I did the video about the tree. I think I said something about families, that we all branch off in different directions, but if we look at a tree, that branching off in different directions but staying connected is actually quite beautiful. But sometimes in families or in relationships or in friendships, when somebody starts to branch off, we get scared that we're losing them. So maybe we try to pull them back, or we try to drag them down, or things like that. We don't admire the beauty of them blossoming on their own. And now what we're bringing around in change is that, exactly, that we want to stay rooted together, but branch off and grow. And look at what trees do. They bring the oxygen to the world. They help us to breathe. So this branching off is very important. I'm always amazed where these readings take us, and amazed at the things that come out of my mouth. I'll have to watch the video back because I rarely remember any of the readings because the message is not for me, but this is for me as well. I'm part of the collective. Some of us are those indigo children and adults, or crystal children and adults, and maybe that's where you're doing your research. Maybe that's what you're helping indigo children to understand. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not crazy, and individuality is beautiful. Growing off in your own direction is beautiful here, and that's your calling. So in regards to romantic lives, I definitely see here a lot more people now getting into committed relationships and leaving the technology behind. Like, you know, like, okay, when you're in a relationship, I see some changes coming where people won't be jumping in other people's DMs. I see people respecting relationships more. And because a lot of people know you're in a relationship and still message your partner and still chase your partner, that sort of thing I see as going away, which is wonderful, right? Which is wonderful. Help others here where you can. I'm not saying make yourself run out on empty. No, help others. What if you could make a tea or a coffee for a homeless person? You don't have to buy it if you have that stuff at home. You could make it. Let's see. We have material and spiritual prosperity. So we will see these material and spiritual changes now, and we will have that prosperity. Like I said, we will have this change, and it is for the better. It's coming. We will prosper here, you know, because Saturn's the big boss telling us, yes, we will prosper. We will do this. Okay, mental conflict. That's the Two of Swords. Again, on the Two of Swords there. Mental conflict. Make the decision okay? Don't feel like you need to know all the answers before making the decision. Embrace the Fool energy when you feel this mental conflict. Trust your intuition, make a decision that's most healthiest for you, and jump. Nine of Cups again. It is the same reading, it often happens. Fulfillment of wishes. That's what we get. We get rewards and gifts from the universe that better our lives, right? So that innovation, that better medicines or better technology or understanding certain flowers that heal us rather than taking constant tablets and certain things like that. Those sort of changes. Those sorts of gifts to humanity that change life for the better, because we've kind of been going in the wrong direction, right? And as I say that, the emotional withdrawal, Eight of Cups. We've kind of been moving away from love and just wanting instant gratification. And it's no more. Time to, you know, slow your roll there. So don't worry about the things that we're leaving behind, because they're no longer serving us. We have this release card, which is the Death card. And it's just saying release. It makes way for better things here. You don't need to worry. Moving on. And financial and material changes. Okay, that's the Six of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. So we are seeing these major changes that are happening, guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Leave me some feedback in the comments. Maybe we could do it with a different planet each month or something there, right? I leave my email only in the description box for personal readings and my services. Good luck.